I want to move on to a little different issue here, and it's certainly a current event issue, because, David, you say that we have welcomed godlessness with open arms. Now, that leads me to an issue that we need to talk about, because we've had this Planned Parenthood expose, and honestly, it's revealed, I think, a cavalier indifference, what amounts to mass murder. I mean, it reveals a depravity I don't think it's been seen since the Holocaust, and it may not even have been seen since the days of Noah, when all people thought about continuously was evil. So here again, we have this kind of butchery that's been going on, and you cover things like this in this book. And if, again, and you say it, and I may repeat this 2 or 3 times throughout the couple of segments here, when we don't confront evil, when we don't stop it, it just runs out of control. And here in the last month, we have seen some images on screens that are just beyond shocking. You address it.
Yes, and shocking, not surprising. What's interesting to me, Jen, and I'm pleading with the church right now, abortion has been legal for years. That doesn't mean it's okay in God's eyes. That means just according to American laws, it's legalized. But why are some people in the church just now getting upset or shocked by all this after learning Planned Parenthood sells baby body parts? So murder is not enough. Abortion, ripping fetuses apart in a mother's womb is not enough to cause an outcry for justice? In my first book, Eradicate, Blotting Out God in America, we talked about this in an interview a couple of years ago, you and I, where I actually went into Margaret Sanger's warped worldview and the dark history between of Planned Parenthood, where she worked with Adolf Hitler's top eugenicist, Ernst Rudin, and the birth control movement really was birthed in America, not Germany. And we look at Hitler as being evil. Look at what we're doing now and what we're seeing Planned Parenthood do. And the travesty is that it's funded by our tax dollars. And so I write in this new book, The Cause for Silence, I had to take 2 chapters to write 2 different angles on it. One, I quoted the transcript, parts of the transcript that will just they're eye-opening, of Roe versus Wade in 1972-73. And in the next chapter, I write about the anguish abortion causes women and some testimonies from women. We need to understand, we need to talk to people in our culture about this. What they're about in Planned Parenthood is not about women's health. Oh, and this is an interesting thing. Harry Reid actually had the audacity to stand on the Senate floor and say that the people that are trying to defund Planned Parenthood have lost their moral compass. You know exactly what that is. Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. It was absolutely unbelievable to hear him say that.
I think it's a very good thing these things have come out, these videos and this expose, for a number of reasons. But one of it is that I don't think that anybody around the church can just be silent about this anymore. You've got to make a decision. If this isn't the most reprehensible thing and despicable thing that you can think of, the church has been so desensitized by evil that we've gotten used to it. I often talk about the Lot syndrome. Lot is called a righteous man in Peter's writings in the New Testament, but yet he was trying to dialogue with men who were demon-possessed, and he'd been around Sodom just long enough, or maybe too long, in such a way that he'd gotten used to it. We can't afford to become desensitized by it, and sadly, with the dumbed-down gospel that generally is being preached in the megachurch movement, it's a half gospel, maybe at best, but it's dumbed down without any negative or any controversial parts, and the gospel does have controversy in it, folks. In the world and the flesh, it fights against the gospel. We need to remember the real gospel is going to cause a change in the hearts of men, and I hope that what's happening right now with the whole Planned Parenthood thing is going to cause people to reevaluate how deeply we need to be involved in these issues.
And you write this, David Fiorazo, you say, our land is filled with too many permissive pastors, lukewarm Christians, and sin justifiers, while same-sex godless entertainment consumers, evolution defenders, and satanic sympathizers are celebrating. We allow Hollywood to dump filthy garbage into our living rooms, and as a result, we welcome witchcraft, blasphemy, and the glorification of sin. We have become desensitized to the influence of liberalism within the church. David Fiorazo, that is what has hit America. After years and years and years and years of violence, you name it, wickedness, all the things that we're seeing that shock us, we're no longer shocked.
No, we're not. And when I hear Christians becoming desensitized, apathy goes right along with that.
Exactly.
And what we have allowed unchecked, virtually unchecked, and so we have conformed to the world to such an extent that we've allowed it inside the church. So now there's a problem within the church of pastors, and I understand it's wrong, but I understand they don't want to say anything that's going to offend these people. But boy, that's not the way the church is supposed to be. And I think we've got a huge problem. We've got to fight it from both ends. We've also been desensitized in this abortion issue that we were talking about a couple minutes ago. And one of the shocking, or not, I should say astounding, quotes from that transcript from Roe versus Wade. Now remember, it was before ultrasound, before technology and modern medical advances. Now we know it's a person, it's a human baby, it's not just a blob of tissue, particularly now with Planned Parenthood admitting they're selling hearts and livers and kidneys of babies. But there's a quote. One of the Supreme Court justices asked the question to the ACLU attorney, Sarah Weddington. He said, if it were established that an unborn fetus is a person with the protection of the 14th Amendment, you would have almost an impossible case here, would you not? And she answered and admitted, saying, I would have a very difficult case.